Anybody know what that is? All right. We got to turn that down. YouTube doesn't dig it. Ugh. All right, so it's been a minute. Not too long, I don't think. Guess I want to do an update, physique update, where I'm at, what's going on. For anybody that gives two shits. I actually would only give a shit if I were following along. Or if you find any kind of motivation in anything I have to say, which would be awesome and flattering. Yeah. Anyway, so here's where things stand. I am still taking the Tudka every day. I'm at 500 milligrams a day of the Tudka, first thing in the morning, empty stomach. Now I have a cup of coffee. I've cut the caffeine back drastically. Changed coffees, in fact. I switched from Death Wish coffee to, and I was drinking the Valhalla version of that. Zach Wilde endorsed Death Wish Valhalla coffee. And I would drink like 2 cups of that in the morning, pretty strong. So now I'm not even, I've been long enough cutting it back that I'm not only done with drinking the Death Wish coffee, which I really liked that coffee. Really liked that coffee for a number of reasons. But now I'm just drinking like the old school Maxwell House, you know, percolated coffee. And I'm only drinking one cup in the morning, and I'm using probably half as much coffee. So not using very much actual coffee, and I'm not, I cut back on it quite a bit. It's not the greatest thing for me, and I don't really need it. That's the main thing. I don't really need it. See, my philosophy is anything that you're going to expose your body to, anything you're going to put into your body, if it has any kind of potential negative side, as you get older, these things become important. These need to be the things that you think about. Because like I've said, ad nauseum, when you're young, you're like a brand new car, low mileage. You can kind of beat it a little bit, beat on it a little bit. It's not really probably going to hurt it. But when it gets to be, you know, you rack some miles up on it, and you realize, hey, okay, this has to last me now. I can't get another one. This one has to last me. I have to work with this one. Then maybe you're going to drive it a little more carefully, because now maybe the priority is longevity. Everything's a series of checks and balances. You have to weigh the pros and the cons, okay? There's the longevity aspect of it, and then there's the quality of life aspect of it. So from a longevity perspective, yeah, I want to stick around. Hopefully you do too. But then we have to weigh that with the quality of life thing. I'm not going to give up, but so much of my quality of life. I don't want to hang around and just be old and dilapidated and broken down. I don't want to hang around for that. I'd rather not hang around for that. Now, this may change as I get older, because my views today were not the way I looked at things when I was a younger guy, you know? So, I mean, there was a time, hell, when you thought 30 was old, 35 was old, 40 was old. I'll never even live to be that old. I can't even imagine myself there. You know, now here I am on the cusp of 60. I will be 60 this coming year. 2022, I'll be 60 years old. And I had set a marker for myself long ago. I thought, you know what? I've accepted it. Can't do anything other. I'm getting old, and I'll see 60. And when I hit 60, maybe I should just make that a marker that I want to get into like really phenomenal shape for my 60th birthday. You know, so I've had it in the back of my head for quite a while. And, you know, weighing the checks and the balances, the pros and the cons, for me, the main thing is I've got the longevity versus the quality of life. So there's a balance that I need to maintain there. I need a certain standard of quality of life. Like, I think I've done very well so far. I think I've done an outstanding job so far. So far, I think I've done far, far better job than the vast majority of people do or achieve. I mean, I have no aches, I have no pains, I'm fully functioning, fully functionable. I can do everything today, right now, that I did when I was a young buck. I may not do it as well. I may not be as fast. I may not be as proficient, but I still can function. I still can perform the same tasks all the way around. So what I've really had to give up, or what's been taken away from me, is nothing in its entirety. Is no aspect of life that I've enjoyed. Nothing of any of that has been entirely taken away from me with age. I can still enjoy all the same things I always enjoyed. Now, some of the things I used to enjoy, I don't choose to enjoy because they're not good for me. You know, it's too precarious. But all the, you know, anything that I want or need my body to be able to do, it can do. So I think that's a win. I think that's a success. And I'm accustomed to that. I'm so accustomed to that if something becomes other as I progressively age, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for me. So, you know, there are all kinds of roads that I've gone down as far as nutritionally, supplementally, that are going to, you know, quality of life and longevity. So now that longevity is an issue for me, where longevity wasn't always an issue for me. Quality of life has always been an issue. Performance has always been an issue. Longevity didn't really come into the equation, didn't really consider it. But here I am, what am I going to do? So longevity is important to me now. So that is the TUDCA thing for number one. So every morning, you know, I will have my cup of coffee, and then I will take, I'll take a shaker cup, I will mix up 500 milligrams. It's actually more like 600 milligrams because you make sure that little scoop is pretty well rounded. I make sure I'm at least getting to 500. When I first started the TUDCA, for the first month, or maybe a little longer than that probably, I was at 1,000 milligrams a day, a gram of TUDCA a day, 500 in the morning, 500 in the evening. And I choose to use the powder, and yeah, it tastes brutal. So now I've been at 500 for, you know, 2 months now? I don't know. 500 milligrams a day in totality. And I take that 500 in one shaker cup. I'll put the 500 milligrams in there minimum. Sometimes it might be closer to 600. And I'll take about 5 grams of L-arginine with that. 5 grams of L-arginine. Now pre-workout, we'll usually take about 10 grams of L-arginine. I've always done the L-arginine, but I used to only take it on training days. And it was sufficient to keep my arteries clean and healthy and clear, to keep plaque away, not just to you know, to responsively deal with a buildup of it, but to prevent it. And that seems to have worked. So, you know, that's a really good thing. So, but now, because a good brother of mine, Alan, I put him onto the L-arginine and the TUDCA, and he's taking the L-arginine religiously, and he's coming off of his blood pressure medications because his blood pressure has been the lowest and healthiest that it's been in recent memory since they put him on blood pressure medications. And he takes, I think, 5 grams of L-arginine daily. So I took that cue from him, which he instated that as his protocol on my cue, you know. So I'm picking up from him a reflection of what he picked up from me, except rather than just do it on training days, it's 10 grams. He's taking it every day to control blood pressure, to moderate his blood pressure at 5 grams. So now I'm taking it every day at 5 grams. On training days, I take that additional, I don't take a full 10 grams now pre-workout on a training day because I've already taken 5 in the morning, you know, so I will take, I guess I'm probably taking about 6 probably 6 grams of L-arginine, 7 grams maybe, pre-workout now on training days. So on training days, I'm taking that L-arginine twice a day. Non-training days, it's the 5 grams of L-arginine in the morning, empty stomach, first thing, with the 500 milligrams of TUDCA minimum. And I mix that up in a shaker cup of water, shake it up really well, and I will sip on that and drink on that. It will take me maybe 2 hours to drink all of that. And in that period, I'm fasting. You know, I've fasted all night in my sleep. You know, I've gotten up, I've had a cup of coffee, and I'll take my TUDCA and L-arginine drink, and that'll take me, you know, another 2 hours at least. 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get that down. Just taking my time with it, because I'm just taking my time. I'm at work, I'm working, I'm just taking my time, sipping on it. Then when that's gone, then I'll start my, you know, my real nutritional intake for the day. Then I'll move on to either a couple cups of yogurt, you know, the 000, or I'll move on to, I'll also have another shaker cup mixed up with a meal replacement by Action Sledge. That's pretty clean, very tasty, and it is filling. I'll have that. I will drink a Fairlife 1.5 liter bottle of Fairlife in the course of the day. I'll have lunch, you know, which could be anything, could be blackened salmon. You know, it depends how hungry I get. Most days now, my food intake is drastically reduced. The TUDCA has absolutely minimized my appetite. And another amazing thing that TUDCA does is, and I had it, I was going to make this another video, so I have all the paperwork to quote all the studies, to cite all the studies and things, what there is, what's out there. TUDCA has been accredited with aiding or increasing the conversion in your body of T4 into T3. Your thyroid produces thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. T3 is the active version, T4 is the inactive version. Most of that, the conversion from T4 into T3 occurs outside of the pituitary gland. A large amount of it occurs in the liver, and because of TUDCA's super liver cleansing, you know, restorative effects, you know, now it manages to increase, greatly enhance the conversion of T4 to T3 in your body. So is the TUDCA causing that directly? I don't think the TUDCA is doing it. I think the TUDCA is creating other effects in the body that are creating an overall higher level of health that's enabling your body now to be more efficient at that. So the short answer is the TUDCA is creating the atmosphere that makes this possible. The longer answer is that, yeah, actually you can trace it back to the TUDCA is actually causing it. And I'm also taking the probiotic. I take the blue biotics, 2 of them a day. I take them in the evening when I come home. I've been eating, and then I'll have whatever I'm going to eat in the evening. I'll have my blue biotics, my probiotics. Got to have them probiotics in there. So, you know, the majority of your immune system happens in your gut. It's completely dependent on the microbiome in your gut, how healthy your gut is. So these are things that everybody should be doing, but an older person in particular, especially an older man, with the negative impacts on testosterone that we experience through the environment and through these environmental endocrine disruptors, and being that it's a fact that testosterone production is down over 60% in the past 6 decades. So because of all that, I think it's imperative. I think it's a must-have. I think you must have a good, worthwhile probiotic on board. and you must have a healthy dose of L-arginine, probably daily. If you're only worried about keeping the plaque down, keeping the blood arteries and everything clear, helping to stave off some dementia, because if you can build up enough plaque to clog an artery, then what do you think? You think that's the only place the plaque accumulates? What about the blood vessels feeding the brain? They're a lot smaller, right? The other thing goes hand in hand with that, as far as now we're talking about dementia and Alzheimer's, is the TUDCA. The TUDCA has proven itself very promising in treatment or the diminishing the effects of dementia. So there you got a double whammy there with the L-arginine and the TUDCA. So if all you're worried about is the plaque, keeping the arteries clear because you don't want to have a freaking heart attack, then you can get by with belting down like 10, 11 grams of L-arginine pre-workout on your training days, provided that you're working out 3 days a week, maybe 4. All right, if you're doing that, enough of that, you can get by that way. If you're worried about blood pressure as well, then you want to go ahead and you want the L-arginine on board every day. So you want your probiotic, you want your TUDCA, you want your L-arginine. Those 3 things, and then it should go without saying, got to have the sport formula, because you're going to need a multivitamin. The sport formula is much, much more than that, but it is such a slam bang knockout of a multi that I'm not trying to minimize it and just call it a multivitamin, but that's what my primary concern is, that I'm the benefit I'm reaping from the sport formula is that it's such an incredible multivitamin. The trace minerals and shit like that the uptake is enhanced through whatever means. It can be explained, but it doesn't matter to me. It works. It already has been explained to me by brother Jimmy, who has developed the formula and is the owner of Sport Formula. He's already explained it to me, I don't know how many times, and I've read all the literature. But the main thing is, it doesn't matter what I read or what's explained to me, it's how I feel. And then what my blood work shows. And then what's reflected in my health. My physical health and well-being. When I go to have a checkup, when I go to have anything done that requires blood work and an examination and any kind of testing going on, and then I respond to the results there. That's a big difference, people, especially guys. That's saying a lot. It may seem obvious. Maybe like, oh yeah, of course. They don't tell you everything. You'd be surprised the shit that you're not being told when you get blood work done, unless you specifically are there to get this blood work done because you want the blood work checked and you want to sit down and review it with your doctor. Anything else, you go in the hospital for whatever and they do blood work, or for whatever reason something else is going on and they want to take blood work. Or you go get a CAT scan, or you get an MRI, or you get any of these things, right? There's a lot of shit that's going to be seen and noted, a lot of things that aren't even going to be mentioned to you because they'll just be, glanced over because somebody's looking and going, yeah, okay, that's normal. Yeah, everybody's got that. That's, but let's not forget that they normalize illness because just like the test level, if every man is low, if we're all low, then it's normal. It's normal. So when they say, okay, this is a normal range for men here in the United States, or first world men, because third world populations don't have the same encroachment on their test levels as we do. That's another thing people should think about a little bit. Well, would it be really normal as far as the human species goes for a man? Or are you telling me it's normal because that's normal for a first world nation man? Okay, so if there are other men in the world in less privileged nations, but yet they have healthier testosterone levels or whatever it may be, then don't impose your your normalcy, if it includes that you're normalizing illness, if that's the real nuts and bolts of it, I don't want to meet that standard. I don't want to be measured by that standard. You understand? So, but there's a lot that they see when they do any of this testing in all regards that you're never going to find out about unless you actually get to look at your medical records. And if you do that and you read every notation by everybody that's been involved, you'll be amazed. You'll go, what? What? You'll be amazed, right? All kind of crap from cysts on your kidneys, which normal. Half of the population, everybody over 50 years old has at least one cyst on at least one kidney. Normal, right? And there'll be people to watch as busters that, they are, I don't even want to say book smart because they're not really book smart. They're Google smart, right? So if that's worth anything, which I think it's worth very little because it can take you down the wrong road. But they'll say, oh, well, that's normal. That's everybody, that's, yeah, okay. Isn't it something you still like to know about, regardless, that you should be informed of? So if you get to look at all those things, then you begin to really get a better picture of the condition you're actually in. So when I find any kind of shit like that out, any of these things, I am proactive about it or reactive to try to be proactive about my longevity. If there's a correction that's out there, I want to pursue that. If there's any kind of remedy or any other thing like that. And then you got to find out what's the cost of that. Checks and balances. Longevity, quality of life. For some people, they just want longevity. There are plenty of older folks out there, man, that are in a lot of pain, very limited mobility, but they're still here and they're happy to be here and they feel they live a fulfilling life, and it's a completely subjective experience. So God bless them, Godspeed. March onward and forward. But for me, my own personal election, quality of life matters a lot. And my quality of life needs to reach at least a certain standard, or else then the longevity thing, not so important, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at so far. I've lost a lot of weight, but because my waist is so much smaller, it's the smallest my waist has probably been since I competed. This is the smallest my waist has been. So as I've gotten a lot lighter on the scale, so there we go. Imagining trying to keep the blood pressure great, trying to keep the arteries clear, and that is working, and that's always been working, and that's great. Now I got the tug on board of trying to keep my wits about me. All these different things. Cutting back on the caffeine because I have plenty of energy. Why do I have so much energy? It's probably related to the higher rate of conversion of T4 to T3 through the TUDCA supplementation, and probably also through the healthier biosphere from the probiotics. And again, the sport formula is like a foundative cornerstone that just fills the blanks nutritionally, because you literally are what you eat. Everything that happens to your body, really health-wise, comes from what you're putting down your neck. So all that's going good. I really need to get the water intake up higher. Again, I was doing really well for a long time. I need to get that back up higher. So as I've dropped all this weight, I'm smaller. I'm not as strong. I've been off, no testosterone augmentation at all now for, I've lost track of how many months. I hadn't trained for I don't know how many months. I lost track. Now I've been back in the gym about a month of good training under my belt. And when I initially returned, my strength was like really diminished, a lot of atrophy. Okay, now the muscle's coming back, shape looks better, weight better. I certainly look better without clothes on than I did before. I mean, I look younger. I have no complaints. I'm smaller. I'm not as strong, but my strength has improved now that I'm back in the gym. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to keep on marching forward with it. The caffeine's being sparsed back, trimmed back, because I just don't need it. I'm not dragging ass. I don't feel as old as I used to feel. And that's a huge improvement to quality of life for me, a huge asset. And I got to give credit to that, to the TUDCA, and I'm sure the probiotics play into it. They go hand in hand. Hand in hand. And then the sport formula is like the quiet, steady constant, the cornerstone. If I didn't have that every day, there could be something nutritionally that my body's missing, and there still could be. But that's what that's for. That's an insurance policy. So these are the things that I've preached over and over again to improve your quality of life and to improve the longevity of your life. Got Brother Alan, who has been working so hard. This brother has been working 7 days a week for I don't know how long to take care of everybody. And he's been hugely successful at taking care of everybody. And just like Brother Ed, another brother, same thing, working hard, paying off the house, taking care of the family, providing for everybody. But a provision for himself fell by the wayside for both of these men, both of these brothers. And I'm sure that there are a lot of you out there that have done the same thing. And I put it this way. I'm not asking you to do something selfish. I'm not suggesting you do something selfish and make yourself the priority from a selfish standpoint. I'm saying with people that have come to rely on you, and you're always there, you're that foundation for them in their lives. What happens if you have let yourself go to the point where you're going to check out on the early side, or something, heaven forbid, something drastically bad happens to you from a health perspective that disenables you from being able to provide, being able to support, being able to take care of? So, you get to a certain age, or you find all of a sudden that you have neglected yourself to the point you've gotten to a certain place where now you really do have to do something about it if you want to continue. And yeah, you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. Your personal, individual, subjective quality of life is going to improve. That's just how it goes, man. It's nothing. It's not a selfish endeavor. You're going to reap huge benefits from it personally, but so are all these people that have come to rely on you, that you've been their stone, you've been their rock. If you want to continue that, it's insurance for them. So that's what I'm up to. And now the next thing I'm doing is, I have off tomorrow from work. I may, God help us, if I can get up tonight. Now, once I go to bed, listen, it's no magic potion. I have good energy all day. I'm much more productive at work, as I previously reported. So I'm making more money. Everything's doing better. But I still get tired. At the end of the day, I'm still tired. When I go to bed, I'm ready to go to bed and sleep. I'm still old. It's not a time machine. I'm not going to all of a sudden, reverse this aging process. It feels like I have to a large degree, so that's why I would really encourage you to try it and give it a fair shake. But, the whole program. But it's not really going to turn the clock back. I'm not going to be like, me at 30 again. It's not going to happen. So at the end of the day, I'm still tired by the end of the day because this is not some kind of artificial energy. I have more energy because I'm healthier. I have more energy because my body's functioning more like it functioned when I was in a healthier condition and a younger state. And the TUDCA, the probiotics, the L-arginine, the sport formula, and just my nutritional intake, my freaking diet. I'm eating less food. I'm putting less food down my throat, down my neck, And I've lost like my desire to eat sweets and things. And I love cookies and ice cream and shit. I don't have that desire for that anymore. And a lot of that may just be because I'm experiencing so much of a benefit from what I'm doing that I'm so motivated that I don't care about that. I'm focused on this now. That could be it. It could also be the friggin' taco or the combination of these things. That just like it has seriously moderated my my hunger and my appetite for whatever reason. Maybe it's killing or it's tampering down drastically my desire to eat that kind of shit. I think because I'm not as hungry and I have less appetite, then when I do eat, I want to eat substantial food, you know, whatever it may be. So if I can manage to get up, I may get up. If I wake up, take a piss at some point, I may decide, you know, what the hell. I may grab the camera, get ready for the gym, and maybe we'll go to the gym 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't know. Big, that's a long shot that I'll manage to do that. But if I do that, there won't be anybody in there. I'll do some video and we'll do some shit training. Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what's going on. I encourage you to join me and reclaim your life for yourself and for anybody that cares about you or counts on you. And let's start the new year off with a real serious revamping of how we do things, how we live, how we eat, how we think, how we treat ourselves, and reap the benefits of an enhanced state of quality of life and health. All right? Questions, comments? Put them below. I'm going to look. I'll look this time. I promise you. I'll set time aside to look, and I'll try to respond. You guys take care. Hope you had a great weekend, and I will be back sooner than later. Have a good night.